This is not NBC. This is CAN TV Channel 21, your favorite station across the USA. And I'm your host and producer, Steven Silver Black Butterfly. So glad to have you folks. Wait, folks. Wait, folks. Good to have you here today. All these folks out here waiting for this marvelous program I'm going to have. And you're going to see next to me this handsome gentleman. I'm going to introduce him a little bit more fully. But this is Mr. Othel Owens, a senior at USC. And I'll tell you a lot more about him, but more is coming. Let the credits roll now. Pretend the credits are rolling. The credits are rolling for Imani and Rocio in our studio to make things happen. Rocio, Imani, wave for the audience. Okay, very good. You see them waving. I'm so happy they're here. I've got to give credit to my other producers, associate producers, Dr. Mike, and also, not Othel, but Ellis Taylor, the folks that make these things happen. More importantly, I shouldn't say more important, one of the most important things is to have Darius Hillman, the executive director of CAN TV, making things like this happen for the Black Star Project, that programs that address the community's needs, the community's wants, the things that the community is interested in, the things that the community needs to know about, the things that me as a producer have to break it down to the community so that they are aware of what's happening in the community. Without much further ado, I want to introduce my guest, who is now a senior, just going into senior year at USC. And I started to say that he was a contemporary, or that O.J. Owens, O.J. O.J. was on campus when I meant to say Caleb Williams, but I know you had some experience with Caleb. But tell us how you came from being raised in Bronzeville, Chicago. Raise your hand, folks from Bronzeville. You see them all out there waiting for you?
I do.
Tell them a little bit about your background and how you connect with the Bronzeville community, the greater Bronzeville community.
Yes. Well, I was born and raised in Kenwood.
And born and raised by Othel and Maria Owen.
Yes, great
parents.
people. They're out there watching right now.
Hey, they're watching, I know.
And yes, we moved. Oh yeah, I was born there.
Okay.
And for the first couple of years, I attended Murray Language Academy in Hyde Park.
Okay.
Yes, and then that was a great community, great school.
Okay.
And I went there until I was 5th grade, and then I transferred over into the British School of Chicago.
What? The British School? That must have led you to London, but that's another story. Go ahead.
That is. We'll get into that a little later.
All right. Thank you.
But that was in South Loop. And then I went to Francis Parker in Lincoln Park for my high school. And then that eventually led me to USC.
What a story, what a story. But I know part of the story too. You had choices, a number of colleges and universities that you could have went to. And I think one was UW, the other one was USC, but this is for folks, get your pencil and paper out, because this information is going to be for your nieces, nephews, grandchildren, children, how a student like Othel chose USC versus another grand university in the University of Wisconsin. In Madison, how he made that choice, how those choices came about. Tell them, as a senior coming out of Francis Parker, how you chose between UW, I think those are some of the main choices, but you had some other two, and USC. What went into that? Tell that to other seniors who are going to their senior year.
Well, yes. I applied to a lot of schools. I wanted to have a lot of different options, because when you're a senior, you're not really sure of what you want to do yet.
Okay.
You know, your mind's kind of all over the place. You're still learning about all these majors. But I was fortunate enough to kind of always know what I wanted to do. since the age of 5. I've been a professional actor.
Is that because I was going to ask you about your professional acting? Because I've
Yes.
seen some of your early years.
Yes.
And I thought you were going to win an Emmy or an Oscar very early on. But tell us about what's the place at the Water Tower? What do they call that place?
Oh, the Looking Glass Theater.
Looking Glass Theater.
Yes, yes. So I was a part of the Looking Glass, their young ensemble, from about 8 to 18, so 10 years. And we did plays, and I loved it. And it was great having that background of theater. I think theater is just such a rich part of our culture as people. And being able to do that was an experience that I feel like has helped me in so many different ways throughout my personal and professional life. But
Let me ask you this.
Oh.
Did that open some doors for you to make a little money on the side? Did you do some commercials and
Well,
stuff?
yes, that's what, but that was aside from my professional acting.
Oh,
As well,
okay.
yes, because when I did that at 5, I did my first short film, Eric's Haircut, and then I eventually got an agent, and then, yes, like you said, I was doing commercials, independent films, TV, pretty much everything in the acting world.
Okay.
And that's still what I want to do, but when I was senior in high school, I was thinking more of, well, I still love this, but I took a few classes about film, and it was really piquing my interest.
Okay.
And college is the time. That's where you explore your interests. So I was like,
Tell them about it. Then you start to explore.
I started exploring my interest, and then so I applied to different schools
Okay.
for different majors, and I originally went to USC for acting.
Wait a minute, you gonna be another Denzel or what?
All the above. Yeah.
Is it all the above?
Yes. So I initially went there for acting. I took a film class my first semester, absolutely fell in love with it, and decided I wanted to switch my major into film. Because that way, my ultimate goal is to produce, direct, write my own.
Produce, direct, write.
Yes.
Okay.
My own television and film programs.
Evolved. You didn't have to have your future, and still don't, all mapped out. That was just this path. Talk about how you got to that path, or share a little bit more about the path that you're following now.
Well, I loved watching movies. I loved watching television. That's pretty much why I became an actor in the first place, because I wanted to be like the actors I saw on TV.
Got favorites?
I love Michael B. Jordan. Love
Okay.
Robert De Niro. Yeah, I got a lot.
you talking
Donald
to
Glover.
me?
Donald
Are you
Glover
talking
is
to me?
Donald Glover. Well, yeah. And then, but there was a few artists in particular, such as Donald Glover, who I began to notice their work, where they would write, they produce, and they'd act in their own work, and that was the coolest thing to me. It was really intriguing. I could see myself doing it, so that's pretty much why I chose film, because I had the acting part kind of down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a professional. I'm good at it, but I can always get better,
you're good
and
at
then
it.
that's kind of went into school for it, and I still am continuing to get better.
Yes.
But the film part was still foreign to me. Even though I had experience, I didn't know what it took to be a producer, what it took to write your own movies, to direct it. So I decided to take that leap, switched my major to film, and
Did your
I love
parents,
it.
were they pulling their hair out and saying, "Oh, why can't you make up your mind?"
No.
They didn't
My
do that.
parents-
What did they do? I know I have an idea what they did to
Yeah.
support you, but how did that go?
Oh, they 100% supported me. My mom helped me through the process. We had a lot of phone calls when I was telling her, my interests,
When you say film calls, what does that mean?
my phone calls.
Oh, phone calls.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
And then she said, I support you, let's do it. And she helped me craft my portfolio, and then eventually the essay that I used to apply to film school. And I got in, and I've been happy ever since with it.
Well, you know what? We need a little break from our sponsors.
Okay.
Have I said anything about Philip Jackson and Black Star Project?
No, you haven't.
What is wrong with me? How did I miss that? This is sponsored. Black Star Still Rising, sponsored by Black Star Project. Founded by Philip Jackson, as many of you know that this program is about, and his successor, and that's Gloria Smith. And without Phil, without Gloria, we would not have a Black Star Project and all the things that they are doing in the Bronzeville community and the extended Bronzeville community. So I better tell you a little bit what's happening soon. Well, I might not have another program. They might not give me a chance to talk any more than today. But we've got a couple of things coming up. main thing is Bronzeville Juneteenth. I don't know whether you can see this. Take a good look at this. Write down this information, you folks will look. How many folks from there? Bronzeville? How many from Poole? We've got folks from Pullman, Bronzeville, all over the city. You should know about this. West Side, South Side, Bronzeville, Juneteenth. You know what Juneteenth is? What's the date on Juneteenth?
The 19th.
No, well, they ordinarily would be. Was the 14th, Saturday the 14th. It's going to be from 11 to 5, and it's going to be at Philip Jackson Parkway. You know what Philip Jackson Parkway is?
Tell me where it is.
It's right at 35th and King Drive. That part has been named now Philip Jackson Parkway. All those places along that area, that will be part of the Juneteenth experience, and we're looking forward. Let me tell you what's going to be happening there. First of all, it's going to be hosted by the Black Star Project. I knew that. Chicago Defender Charities. Absolute anything essential. Bud Billiken Parade. You're going to find out more about the Bud Billiken Parade coming in August. State Representative Cam Buckner's office is a sponsor. FAM Entertainment Theater Company. Those are the sponsors for the Bronzeville's Juneteenth event. Now, put a little twist on it. You folks out there, it's not just something that you're going to watch. I want you to participate. There's a way you can participate and help this come off in the history of Juneteenth. Black Star Project is going to need what? Some volunteers, and I think they'll need about 30, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 30 that we said?
I think so.
I think it's 32 for this event. Volunteers are needed. Let me tell you this, write down, pencil and paper, 2 shifts, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Call, let's do the number, 773-285-9600. Now, I'm going to repeat that. Write this down. 773-285-9600. Ask for Lindsay or any member of the staff, and very unique experience. If they happen not to answer the phone, you can leave a message there, and guess what?
I'll get
Yes,
back to you.
they're getting, boy, you on prompt, boy. I didn't even have to tell you that. You know that they're on prompt. They're going to call you back and let you know that we're going to sign you up. We need about 30 people, different ages, whatever. There's something you can do for the Juneteenth celebration, which is, again, Saturday, June 14th, 9 to 6. Oh, and there's going to be food provided, too.
Sounds like a good time.
You come right on cue, man. That's what I knew about bringing you on board today. But we're going to get a little bit into something that a lot of black students don't know about, and that's study abroad.
Yes, yeah.
First of all, how did you come to think about studying abroad and where you studied? I mean, how did that come to you? And why? Okay,
well,
go ahead.
I'll start. It's not necessarily a long story, but it goes back a little bit, actually. So, as I mentioned earlier, I went to the British School of Chicago. I went there from ages 12 to about 14, actually 11 to 14.
Okay.
And it's in the name, it's a British school. So I had teachers, peers from England, but all around the world. And at the time, I had never been out of the country.
Not out of the country? Okay.
I eventually went with my family to England, and it was great. I really enjoyed it.
You got any British accent that you brought back with you? Can you say something very typically British?
Just not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. maybe I'll do one for you.
Do one invitation before we end the program, all right?
But it was it definitely piqued my curiosity into exploring the rest of the world, and I get to college. I had a friend who was a year older than me when I was a freshman. So he was a sophomore. And he was explaining how he planned on going abroad the next year. And then USC, I love the school. I was like, how could you leave for a semester? Like, this is such a great time. And then he was saying because he wanted that opportunity to explore the rest of the world and get a global perspective.
He just wasn't limited to either Bronzeville or whatever city he was from.
Exactly.
He had a further, bigger view of life.
Exactly. And then especially for what I want to do, I need to be able to learn about different cultures, different people, hear their stories. I'm a storyteller, and I need experience. And I thought going abroad would be the best thing for me to enhance me not only as a person, but as a filmmaker, as a producer. London drew me in particularly
Okay.
because of their strong film and acting hub.
Now, who would know that? Except
Yeah.
people who are in the school of film and things like that,
Yes,
right?
well, it's like a majority of actors that you see in TV and movies
Yes.
are all British. They
That
all
is-
have that classical training.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be in that space where I could also just get a little peek of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can bring that back and use it in my own works.
So tell me a little bit why you picked out Queens. Tell me the exact name?
Queen Mary, yes.
Queen
Queen Mary University. Well, they had the best opportunity for me where they had film and they had acting there as well. And my school was very particular on the type of schools they would accept for
When you say
for the
that,
film
USC?
school. Yes,
Okay.
for at USC.
Okay.
And so that school had the same criteria as their film school, so I went there. Made it easy on myself.
Okay. Now, can you talk about your experiences going to a pub the first time?
Yeah.
Did they have you show your ID or what?
Well, it's 18 there.
I was 18.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
so-
you had enough mustache and beard.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't going to question you, look for your ID.
Yeah.
What did you order the first time that you went there?
I had a cider.
Just a
I had a
cider.
cider.
You didn't get a pint of...
No, actually that's not true. I had a pint of Guinness on my
Yeah,
first
That's your
day.
daddy's drink, but actually,
Yeah.
the throw some hair on your chest as you
No,
drank.
yeah. It's an acquired taste, but it's a good one.
You told me a little bit about how you got to know the local, like the Cheers place in the pub that you went to.
Yes. That's one thing that I really enjoyed about my experience. You're living in a different country for 4 or 5 months,
Mm-hmm.
so I started getting local spots. There was a pub that me and my classmates would go to. There was a good time. The bartender eventually, ended up knowing me, and it was
You
it was
walk
nice.
in and he knew to start to set you up?
Exactly.
Okay,
He would
all
give me my
right.
cider when I walk in.
Uh-huh.
I had a coffee shop where I go and do work, and as soon as I walk in, after about a month, they already were making my order, and so it felt really nice just to kind of make it in my own city, kind of be in a new place and still have that, familiarity, that generosity. So.
I got excited just hearing about your daddy was telling about some of the places that you talk about. You had a chance to visit how many countries while you were still based out of London? Tell me some of the places
I think
that you
in
went.
total it was around 8 countries.
Oh Lord,
8 countries.
8
yes.
countries. That many countries in the EU?
Yes. In the
Okay,
EU,
I
yes,
got to get
yes,
familiar
yes.
with the politics of that. But
Yeah.
then, which countries did you go to?
I
Okay,
went to
but one.
Spain,
Spain, one.
Italy, Portugal, Hungary,
Hungary.
Denmark.
I got to ask you how you picked out Hungary. And boy, I never would have thought of going to book there. Denmark, Sweden, but that's only a Scandinavian country. Got 3 more.
Went to Paris.
Yeah, oh, how could you miss Paris?
Went
Just
to
going.
Paris. So that's France. That's another country. Then I don't know. There was,
What about
I've
your
been-
favorite cities? The favorite cities. In Hungary,
I-
is
Budapest.
Okay,
Budapest was in Hungary.
Okay,
And I loved Copenhagen,
okay.
Barcelona, and
Talk about
Lisbon
Copenhagen.
was my favorite. Lisbon was my
Because Copenhagen is where Caleb is now. Isn't he doing part his... Caleb Williams is in
favorite. Oh,
Copenhagen.
he might be doing
That's
that.
what I've read something. in the
Okay,
paper.
yeah.
What was it about Copenhagen that got your interest beside that famous statue in the harbor, whatever?
Mhm.
Okay.
I had heard a lot of good things about it from previous people that have went, and I want to kind of explore myself. I've never really thought about going to a Scandinavian country before. I didn't know much about it prior, and I really enjoyed it. The food was amazing. It was some of the best food that I had.
What would you order on the menu now or brought back? What would you have ordered?
Well, it's just the different types of food that they had.
Okay.
But everything was done to perfection. The hot dogs, the
Hot dogs
barbecue,
even.
the barbecue.
Wait, but you said barbecue in,
Yes,
in Copenhagen?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
it's. You would have never guessed, but all the types of food. I had really good Mexican food there as well, but they're known for the smorgasbord, which is their brunch. So it's all different types of brunch options.
Now,
and it was
which
great.
one of those are you going to make for your parents that you're going to
Nothing, because I'm a horrible cook.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're honest about it.
Yeah.
They're not expecting
We
you to have
can
much.
order it. We can order it, and I'll
Have
order
you
it
found
for
a
them.
place in Chicago that can do some food from Copenhagen?
No, I have
Not
not
yet.
yet. Not yet. Not
No.
yet. But I'm sure that I know there's here. No, Chicago's got a lot.
Tell me some of the places in terms of both art, film, that you want to go back to and maybe take some film up again.
Definitely Copenhagen. I want to go to Lisbon as well. I would love to do Lisbon, and then London. London was honestly the one of my favorite places. Even though I was there, there was endless things to do.
And you ever take the train or it's not the
Yeah.
L, what do they call it?
The tube, yes,
Okay.
the tube. And eventually, actually, funny enough, you said that in London, I was able to do a couple videos as well. I did a music video in London.
Tell me about that. Tell me about your experience and how you just, on your initiative, you called this singer in England and said you'd like to do a video about it. Tell us
Yeah,
how that
so,
happened.
So this
Tell us her
story-
name first of all.
So it was this British artist. Her name is Led by Her.
Led by Her. That's three
Yes,
different words, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I saw her on my Twitter.
Okay.
And one of her snippet for her new song came out.
What was the
and
song?
It's called Daydreaming Made Me Blue.
Daydream. It's not Aretha's Daydreaming.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
That's
No,
a
it's
different.
not. No, it's not.
Go ahead.
And I saw it. I really liked the song.
Uh-huh.
And because the past few months, starting in September, I really said, you know what? I want to start doing my own freelance videography, creative directing. And I did a couple music videos at school, but I want to get serious about it. So then I started reaching out. And I saw this song. I was like, she's based out in London. I'm going to London. So I found her on Instagram.
Okay.
And then I texted her on there. I said, I really liked your song. I'm going to be in London for the next couple months, and I would love the opportunity to do a video for you.
And what happened? You from your own initiative, what happened?
She texted me back. She was saying that she was working on a project, but she had a new song that was coming out the next week, and that we could do a video for that if I was interested in it. And then I sent her some of my work. She loved it, and then we connected, and then next thing you know, I'm shooting a music video for her at her concert.
But you're
and it was a
using
great
your own
experience.
cameras, nothing real expensive. I've seen the video. It's
Yeah.
really a marvelous video.
Thank you.
But what kind
appreciate
of
that.
equipment did you use to shoot the video?
So I had my camcorder.
A camcorder.
I had my camcorder, my
Cost-
mic, and that
cost
was
you
about
over
it.
$100.
And that was it. Yeah. And then
How long did it take you to do it?
I got to her because it was her and her friends, because we did have the video at her apartment and the other half at their concert. So I think in total it was about probably there for like 5 hours, and then obviously the time that I spent editing. But
The
it was a
only
good
thing
time.
I didn't like about it is that the credits just I barely got a chance. You were at the top as producer, and it went so fast. I said, "Is this the right one?" I had to run it back again to make sure I had it right. But I'm sure that when we start to roll credits and when you do your own video, give enough time for our slow readers to do that.
I will do. I'll make a note of that.
Okay. What about some of the other favorite places in England? If you were suggested for somebody to go and visit and to get some educational
Yeah.
experience.
I lived in the East London area, so like Bethnal Green, Whitechapel.
What's that like compared to the neighborhoods in Chicago or LA?
Ooh, to Chicago or LA. Ooh, that's a great question. I feel like the area I was, it was very up and coming. It was a lot
Gentrified or
in the process,
Okay.
yes, but it was a lot of art. So when I'm walking to cafes or just walking to the train station, you see street art everywhere.
you
And
see any black people?
oh yeah, there's a lot. There's obviously, contrary to some people's belief, black people they're everywhere, and so
Okay.
and they all have different cultures because
Mm-hmm.
it's like the British were great,
Mm-hmm.
full of art, and that's one thing I really appreciate as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
going around seeing how different cities, how people live, and how they express their own art.
What are your takeaways? You had this experience. What do you bring back to USC? What do you bring back more to Chicago? And what would you like to do for Chicago and either making a video or whatever about some aspects of Bronzeville or whatever?
Well, I think one thing that I take about from my experience is that there's a lot to do in this world. There's endless opportunities, and I don't have to limit myself. And I think that's one thing that I needed to do for myself, just for my personal growth, but just also to expand my business, to expand my own passions and my future endeavors.
Talk to a senior at whatever school in Chicago. Tell them what they should be doing, what they should start. Break it down to them how they can have the kind of experience that you just had.
To take advantage of opportunities that you have. Sometimes they're going to be right in front of your face. Sometimes you're going to have to dig a little bit. But it might seem uncomfortable to you at first, but do it. It's important to get out of your comfort zones. That way you grow. You'll be open to opportunities and experience you never even thought could exist.
When you're out of your comfort zone, read a little bit about what's happening for volunteers here for the Black Star Project. That phone number, what's that phone number at the bottom?
The phone number is 773-285-9600.
Are you writing this down? Okay. And what's happening here?
Volunteers needed?
Why are they needed?
Well, because there's a celebration
of
on
what?
June 14th.
Of Juneteenth?
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, okay.
Yeah, it's on the 14th.
Okay, but it's on the 14th, but it's called Juneteenth,
Yes,
right?
I know. I got to tell the people the date.
That's it. Anything else you want to say about Bronzeville? Being extratemporaneous?
It'll be a great day, full of fun and culture, and come on down.
Come on down. Thank you so much, my brother,
Thank you.
for being here on the program. Othel Owens, a great guest. Look for him. Academy Award or Emmy are in his background. All right then.
Thank you.